Hello, everybody. We are back. It's Canadian Bowler Show. I am Michael Patulli, joined by my fabulous co-host, Daryl Fitzgerald. How's it going, Daryl?
Oh, good. Here in Ontario, I don't know what it's like in Saskatchewan, and I'm nervous to ask, but here it's like fall weather. No snow. It's mild. It's like I think we had like 12 or 13 degrees the other day. Just crazy. So what's it like where you are?
Well, I think they said it's an El Nino winter or something we're expecting. So same here.
It's
I
crazy.
think we had 6 or 7 degrees last week, and essentially almost all the snow that we have gotten this year is melted. So it's a bizarre year, but as you may see by our fabulous attire, we were trying to get in the spirit a little bit. It's our last show of the year, so we figured we'd each wear a shirt. I got you can sort of see it's a Dwight Schrute from The Office sweater, and Daryl's I think got some beers, and yeah, he's got an appropriate beer for his beers shirt. But figured we get a little festive here to end off the year and sort of end our season off as good as we can. So since we are here, just the normal reminder to like, comment, subscribe. We appreciate any sort of interaction we can get. It really does help us if you do hit that like button. So please do so if you are here. If you're not able to catch the show live, we are on YouTube within the day, so you can check it out after the fact there. And if you're a big podcaster, we are on all major podcasting platforms within the week of the show. So keep an eye out for there if you're not able to catch us live, and we'll just get to it, I guess. We got some info. There's been bowls happening across the world, really. Still sort of got some different tournaments that are happening. Pretty important tournaments, honestly. So we can sort of jump into those. The one that I think wrapped up a couple days ago now was the IIBC World Under 25 Singles and Mixed Pairs Championship. So we had some Canadian content there. I don't know, Daryl, did you want to sort of take away some of those results or talk about that?
Yeah. So I don't have any specific pictures. I've just got a bunch of pictures of the mixed pairs players from every country. So I'll just flip through those as I'm going through the results. So yeah, the IIBC World Under 25 Singles and Mixed Championships. Congratulations goes to for the men's singles goes to Nathan Black of Australia, who was in that first picture. He defeated the silver medalist Mohammed Idham Ami bin Ramlan from Malaysia. And then bronze was split between Ryan Davies of Wales and Bradley, I want to say Buchan from Scotland. If I got that right. In the women's singles, gold went to Shauna O'Neill of Ireland. She defeated the silver medalist Amy Harris of Scotland. There's a gold medalist there. And then bronze was split between Catherine Bonsall from Guernsey and Sophie McGrowther from Scotland. And then the mixed pairs. Shauna O'Neill had a great event. Gold went to Ireland, which was Shauna O'Neill and Ryan McElroy. They defeated the silver medalists Emily Kernick of England and Harry Goodwin of England. And then the bronze was split between Alans Binti Ahmad Nawawi of Malaysia and Muhammad Idham Amin bin Rahman of Malaysia. And the other bronze medalist was Jesse Cottle from Australia and Nathan Black of Australia. So a lot of competitive bowls. As you can see from the facility there, it looks really nice. Carpet's good. And a lot of great competitors. And the very last picture I'll show here is, of course, of our Canadian content, Eric Gallipo and Jordan Koss from Ontario and Saskatchewan. They were out there, they played mixed pairs together, and then obviously both of them played in the singles. Mike, did you want to go over their results? I think you pulled that data.
Yep. So Eric ended up going 0-3 in his games. However, he had a +2 shot differential. pretty much looks like he lost all of his games by tiebreaker. So very close matches across the board. I think I was looking, and the guy who technically finished above him in the group had a negative 26 shot differential, but ended up winning one of his matches. So obviously that's pretty tough if you're having your close matches and not getting the results, but pretty respectable showing by Eric. And then Jordan went 2-2 in her group. She got through to the quarterfinals due to shot differential as well. But then she played in the quarter against the Guernsey competitor, and they had a very close match as well. So I think it was each of them won a set 6-1 or 8-1, something like that. And then it went down to the final one-end tiebreaker. So Jordan ended up going down there, but had a good solid match against the Guernsey competitor. They were streaming that on, I think it's the Wrong Bias podcast is
Yes.
the name of it. So they were doing some streaming. So it was nice to actually be able to watch that game live. But pretty tough ending, I think, for Jordan. That one-end tiebreaker is suboptimal, and I think Eric's probably going to be agreeing with that as well, that it's pretty suboptimal to have that one-end tiebreaker. What were your thoughts about the event, and I guess even that one-end tiebreaker, Daryl?
Great event. I mean, I still miss the outdoor one. I was there coaching when they had the outdoor in Australia, and I think overall that was a more meaningful competition to everybody. But this one is good, and I'm glad they still have it as a pathway for under 25 competitors. Format's good, singles matches and then a mixed pairs grouping to give them some more bowls to play, which is cool. I mean, you see the cream rise to the top, but the single elimination tiebreak rule is rough. I think I agree with you. Just on the surface, if you see somebody didn't make it and they made it, and you say, oh, they went 0-3 or they went 1-2 or whatever, it could be easy to dismiss that they had a poor showing or something happened and they didn't make it. But you have to dig a little bit deeper and see actually what happened. And I think Eric's case is a prime example of how rough that single elimination or single tiebreaker eliminator is, where overall he had a really good showing. He was +2 compared to some of the guys that made it in and the people that were below him, and then just fell victim to that single tiebreaker. So, love it or hate it. And I'm sure that those that lose to it hate it, and those that win to it love it. So it just depends on what side of the coin you're on, I think. But really good event. I'm glad that it's still going.
Yeah, no, like I can remember back in my U25 days, if I'm kind of dating myself, they had both events at some points during my career. So they had the IBC stuff, and they also had the World Outdoor, essentially. So it's been an event that's been around for a long time, and it's actually nice that they're getting sort of the entries from the Australias and the different parts of the world, because it used to be essentially almost a UK specific event. So very competitive now, though, as we're seeing like Australia obviously winning gold and then bronze in the mixed pairs. They're definitely making their name in this event too. So it's a good one for them. Any one of those up and coming players out of Australia, I know it's as you're saying, a good pathway. Just so we don't miss them, if I'm talking about other North American content, the United States did have an entry in there as well. So Angel Gomez from the USA was there as a second go around. He ended up going 1-3 in his group. I think last time he had a little bit of a struggle the first go around, because it was his first time playing indoor, I imagine. And he did a lot better this time. He had a -4 shot differential and 1-3, so he had close matches. I think I looked, and 2 of his losses were in tiebreakers as well. So good showing by Angel. And again, I just like to see the North American players getting a shot there and getting them to experience sort of overseas bowls. It's always nice.
That's good for him. I mean, it's nice to see Angel out there. And I mean, unfortunately, we know that the US doesn't have a really strong youth program. And, you pick up a youth here and there, depending on the region. But he's getting his chances and he's getting better at it. So, I mean, give him another year, give him some more competition, and who knows where he'll be next year. That's really cool to see. I do want to shout out the Wrong Bias podcast for doing the streaming. That was awesome. I'm really glad that they got in there and did that. They made a post on Facebook that I responded to. complaining about the event's Wi-Fi and their internet cable. Even when they were hardwired, they were getting just drops and lag and choppiness and a whole bunch of stuff. So the struggles that we have when we're trying to live stream are universal across bowls clubs. It's unbelievable that we haven't caught up to the times and have just an actual decent upload download to actually stream this stuff.
Maybe that's the next sponsor we gotta seek out for Bulls Canada and World Bulls across the board, is some company that just has some blazing fast internet and make it the new big sponsor, because seems to be, as you're saying, it's a common issue we run into in North America, and obviously they were seeing it there. I could see a couple of their posts where they were apologizing that there was Wi-Fi issues at the club. So,
well, they slugged it out, so good on them for doing it.
well, congratulations to everyone involved there. I guess we could move on. There was another pretty, well, a new event, an event that was pretty interesting. I thought it was a cool idea, and I'm glad that it ended up going forward. The Atlantic Senior Fours hosted at the Athena Beach Hotel in Cyprus. So they made a 55 plus event, which is, I think, a really cool idea, because that's obviously a pretty heavy demographic in the sport.
Yeah. And
they had quite a few different countries in there. I guess, did you want to go over the notes you have there about the event, Daryl?
Yeah, sure. So the event was 3 separate fours competitions. So there was a ladies, a women's, and then a mixed. The entry was by invitation to MNAs, which are member national authorities, so Bulls Canada, Bulls USA, Bulls England, and so forth. They did it within Europe, the Americas, Oceania, and Africa regions, so they went and invited pretty much everybody that they could. And each MNA was invited to send up to 2 teams in all disciplines, so you could send a lot of people for this event. So it could have been a really, really, really big event if everybody had sent 2 teams. It would have been really interesting. The competition, 15 ends, 2.5 hours with respot, men and women sectional play, and then the top 4 of each section go into the knockout stages. And then the mixed pairs was actually just straight knockout right out of the gate, which is interesting. So you didn't get any warm up in that mixed. You had to do your stuff or move out of the way, basically. Throw up some pictures here. The countries, and I will go through this because obviously I didn't put the names on them like a smart person. So top one, Cyprus. Then we have Czech Republic, England, Guernsey, Jersey, Norfolk Island, Scotland, South Africa, Switzerland, USA, Wales, and Zimbabwe. So there's my geography lesson for the day. Flags of the world.
Very proud of you.
Thank you.
Very proud, Daryl.
Some cool trophies. I saw this picture up there and I had to grab it. So the men's and the ladies get, I'm wondering if that's glass or if it's plastic, I'm not sure, but the face with a crown. And then the mixed was just the laurel crown, which is really cool. Kind of a neat thing, something a little different than just like a gold medal or whatever. And I'll just go through some of these pictures as I'm reading out the winners. There's just random pictures from the event. So the women, gold went to Cyprus A, which, and I've only got the last names of them. I don't have the first names of everybody. So it was Deadman, Wilkinson, Standeland, and Trotter from Cyprus A. So Cyprus having a huge showing at their home event. That's pretty cool. Silver went to England, which was Handslip, Bolt, Burchell, and Cullum. And then, like most world events, there was a shared bronze, and that went to South Africa. It was Ruse, Matthews, Cole Cook, and Tar. And then Scotland was Carruthers, Cockburn, Purvis, and Douglas. The men, gold went to England B. and it was a 12-11 final score. I just wanted to throw that in a really close final game. England B took it with Arkley, Humphreys, Bryden, and Theobald. And then silver went to South Africa of Cohen, Gadi, Connellan, and Curaçao, I want to say. We'll see. I butchered that one. And bronze was shared between Wales and United States A. So Wales was Leiden, Harvey, Williams, and James. And then United States A was Napoli, Rolek, Ritchie, and Dunn. And the mixed pairs is actually being played right now. It's from December 10th to 12th. So if you want to go check that out, I have linked the Atlantic Bowls YouTube channel in the webpage down below in the description. So you can click on that. It'll take you right to the page. They do have their own YouTube channel. So go subscribe and watch all the stuff that they're doing there. It's really cool. Mike, what did you think?
Well, I thought it was pretty cool. I guess you didn't have any of the pictures of the actual facility. I just find the facility there pretty cool to look at. They had at least, it looked like 3 or 4 kind of mini outdoor greens. I don't even know how to describe what they was. It looked like it was 2 rinks per surface. And it looked like I think they had 3 of them. And then they had an indoor as well. And so on the indoor, it looked like it was 4 indoor rinks, and then there were like pillars separating each indoor rink. So it was kind of a weird setup, but it was cool to see it. And like I know they hosted, I think it was the Atlantic Championships at this facility probably a good 10 or 15 years ago, however long ago that was, but they did host an event there. And I know a lot of people who played there, like Al, who's on the show, he played there for Canada, and he said it was a pretty cool event, or pretty cool facility, sorry. Obviously, it's at a resort and essentially on the ocean, everything like that, so you can't really go wrong. I'm sure all those players are really enjoying the amenities at this point. It was kind of unfortunate to not see a Canadian team in there. I don't know. I saw that last year, I know they did like a call out for teams, and I don't know what the response level was, but I assume we probably had some people that were interested, just maybe didn't have a full team interested, and then sort of throwing a team together. Who knows what happened, but that was sort of my thoughts on the event.
Looked really cool. The streaming was a little weird. I think they had it like way over top, if I'm thinking correctly, kind of watching, and they would zoom in. Cool facility. I mean, you can't go wrong with going to Cyprus and the beaches and all that cool stuff there. The flight would be a killer. What is that, like 14, 15 hours to get there with layovers and whatever. So that's something. But Pierre Vanderhout in the chat saying he wanted to go but missed the age cutoff by 4 months. That sucks. But this is a World Bowl sanctioned event. So that's really, really cool. So hopefully that means that it will be going on for some time. It looks like it was pretty successful. They had 2 U.S. teams, so some North American content over there as well, which is neat. I saw some faces that I recognized that I've seen around, so that's always neat too, because sometimes those that you recognize don't continue to compete in the senior level at that mount, since they've been competing all their life and everything else. But yeah, some really cool people, and they brought in some celebrities. I saw that they had 2 or 3 big name players come and stop by and hang out for the couple of weeks. I think like Robert Wheel from Wales was there, John Bell from England, and they had a good commentary team. A friend of the show, Jason Parkinson, who's the WBT commentator. He's one of the directors on the World Bowls Tour board as well. And he was on here in an interview. Go check that out if you haven't. It's pretty cool. Really cool guy. And it's good to see that he's in demand for commentary, because he does a good job.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite commentators to listen to. Oh, dearie me! It's probably the best
That's right.
quote. We should license those shirts and make the shirts for him. Oh, dearie me! But yeah, I'm glad he was there. He's probably enjoying the sun and the amenities there as well. yeah, as you're sort of saying, I hope the event does continue because obviously I said it earlier, it's a big demographic of the sport, players who are 55 plus, and for it to be a world sanctioned event, and well, one of the few events that's really happening right now, it is an important thing to keep going, I think. And if they can keep it going, it's probably going to keep growing because it's obviously looks like it's a pretty solid event. And if they're opening it to most or all the countries, I think there will be a higher take up level. And maybe Pierre next year will be 55. So if they run it next year, then Pierre will get in there just by the nick of his teeth. So
Do it, Pierre. We want to see you there. I'll train now so that when I hit 55, I can go over then. Hopefully it's still going.
So if we want to move on, I guess we didn't have this in the header, but I feel like it's an easy segue to go to it now. We kind of hinted at it or we talked about it, but events not being hosted or being deferred. So obviously some pretty serious or significant news in the bowls world. The Commonwealth Games, well, they were supposed to be hosted in Victoria in 2026, and they ended up deferring or saying, no, we can't do it. And then it sounded like Gold Coast was going to be taking it up or picking it up for them. And they ended up last week saying, no, they're not going to host it either. So they do not have a host for the 2026 Commonwealth Games. Sort of in tandem with that, I know World Bowls is also struggling to potentially have even a host for the World Championships, I believe. They're the ones that are coming up in Hong Kong in 2 years, is it? So kind of a combo of all these different events. It seems hosting or finding people to host is a very difficult thing. Obviously, we don't have a host, to my knowledge, as of right now, for the Canadian Championships this summer. So it's kind of all across the board. I think hosting is becoming harder and harder to facilitate. I think if we're going to really like target it, is what governments are probably tighten up the purse strings a little bit, not giving out grants as much or as much funding as they used to. So it's hard for a lot of people to justify how much it costs to host a large scale event like that. So I just don't think it's honestly worth it for a lot of the clubs, because you probably, except for the exposure maybe of your club, you aren't going to be making very much money. Com Games specifically, I know, is a huge undertaking, and Victoria bowed out because it was billion, like I think almost double what they'd planned their budget to be is what it was going to end up being. So it's pretty shocking how much money it costs now to host world-class events like that. So what were your thoughts about all the different cancellations, Daryl?
It's sad to see. I've seen a few posts here and there, some comments that it's too much money to host something like that. Like probably better off. Commonwealth Games is huge for us in bowls. We don't have anything else that significant at that level. Like World Bowls is good, and I think the last one was excellent. But before that, World Bowls was hit and miss. Like, was it good? Was it not good? Where was it? All that kind of stuff. I think the last World Bowls event was really good. But Commonwealth Games was where it was at, and people wanted to go. And I can say, without a shadow of a doubt, when Com Games is on and Lawn Bowls is being seen and whatever, our viewership goes up for all the stuff on our channel and things that we're posting out there. We get much more interaction because of that. So the eyeballs are out there and on it, and we need as much help as we can get. And Com Games is a huge one for us because it's generally televised and streamed and whatnot. It is what it is. It's hard to host. People don't want to be putting up the money. Clubs don't want to be gambling that on whether or not they're going to make money. Some of them are just getting by the skin of their teeth as it is, especially with rising costs of everything. So it's a tough sell. I'm really, really hopeful that someone picks up the hosting for the Canadians. Whether compromises can be made or things can be changed or whatever it is. I really think we need this to go and to see how it's going to run, because I don't think any other format, the likelihood of anybody hosting would have changed. I think we'd still be in the same issue.
Yep. No, I think you're saying it correctly there. Like, it doesn't matter what format. I think format is also a problem if we're if we're being perfectly honest, it was a huge change up, and they're asking for a lot of new things and a lot of changed things compared to what it was in the past. So I think it's the combo of a lot of change, and then the fact that it's less money coming in. Like there's not nearly as much money being paid by Bulls Canada to the actual host clubs, and then relying on those different grants, which in some areas just are non-existent. So I'm hopeful that a host does come out soon, because we won't have a nationals. Like
It's weird.
It's weird to be talking about it, but we're at the end of December, and we're January right away, and January turns into March, April pretty quick.
Yeah.
So it could be pretty scary. I think if we don't have a host sort of cinched up probably by that February point, it's almost a point of no return, because I don't know who could put together hosting a nationals in a matter of just a couple of months and have all their logistics together. And again, for the players who are going to be attending it, that's a huge problem to be told, we think it's going to be in Ontario. Well, no, it's in BC. So it's like Canada's so big that depending on where it is with the short notice, it's going to be tough. But yeah, same with you. Very hopeful that someone does step up, and all of these events we're talking about, I'd be hopeful that they're able to figure out something to host wise. I know Com Games, I think the other shows I've made it stated, I think Com Games is going to get trimmed down pretty significantly, and I think it's going to be just probably track and field type sports, swimming, and maybe like gymnastics, and then very much trim out kind of all the extra sports. And I can see lawn bowling being one of those easy casualties to sort of take out and not have to worry about. So that's my opinion on the Com Games. I could be completely out to lunch. Who knows what's going to happen? But again, fingers crossed. Hopefully some of these events can continue on, because that world calendar for World Bulls looks pretty sparse right now, with World Bulls being taken out, no Com Games. There's not really anything really planned right now for the major high-end events, which is kind of scary to think about.
That's true, and it makes it tough for North America as well, because we don't have a lot of stuff over here. Like there's other stuff in other countries, like the UK has a bunch that they could probably backfill, or people could alter their plans and do something else. And same with Australia, they got so much stuff going on, Premier Leagues and pennant and whatnot, but we just don't have that here. So for our international players and for those that want to be international players, got to find something that fills that gap, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, well, we can move on from that doom and gloom, I guess. Lots of fun conversation there, but we figured it had to have been talked about, because pretty significant announcement of Com Games not happening, and well, no one to host it, I guess, and then obviously all the different issues of hosting across the board, both domestically and internationally. So fingers crossed. Let's hope that it's not so doom and gloom. Maybe come January, February next year.
Yeah,
but we can move on. We'll talk about other events that are happening and that we can have some excitement for. So the World Bulls Tour has their premier event, the World Championships, coming up in early January. So January 5th to the 21st. That is taking place at Potter's Leisure Resort in England. Beautiful, again, another beautiful facility. Very excited to see how that shapes out. We do have Canadian and American content in there. Do you want to take that, Daryl?
Yeah. Some really key matchups to watch. Obviously, because we're coming from North America, a lot of us are qualifying to get into the main one. So there's a lot of prelim events for our players. So for Canada, in the pairs, we have Jake Masterson and Rick Lyons. They'll be against Mark McPeak and Stuart Bennett from Northern Ireland. That match will happen on January 5th, and the winner of that will jump into the main draw and then go from there. On the U.S. side, the prelim match is Jessie May and Rachel Marcuson from the U.S., sorry. And then they're against Paul Wallace and Kenny Johnson from England. And that will also be happening January 5th. So January 5th, keep an eye out if you want to catch some of the North American players on there. For singles matches, a prelim match We'll see Julia Gallo from the US versus David Bolt of England on January 7th. And then another prelim match, Dylan Jacobs of Canada versus Sasson Eliahu from Israel on January the 8th. And then Julia is making a run in all events. So she's in the mixed pairs, and she teams up with Mark Dawes, who's an excellent player, a really good partner there. And they'll be against Paul Foster and Lauren Gowan from Wales. And Paul Foster's from Scotland, if you didn't know. That's on January the 12th. And then Julia's also in the ladies match play, and she will be taking on Sarah Ann Glenn from Wales on January the 14th. So that should fill up your January with bowls if you want to watch, and I know I'll be tuning in.
Yeah, that's going to be a long trip there for Julia.
Yeah.
Sort of think about that. Plays her first match on the 7th, and potentially the 14th could be the ladies' match place. Man, she's going to be there almost that whole time. It'll be a couple of weeks in England. That'll be fantastic for her. But it's very nice to see she qualified for the main singles event. Like, we typically only see Catherine Rednall. Usually is the only female we usually see playing in that sort of the open singles. So nice to see that there's going to be other ladies participating in that part of the event. Also good to see Dylan getting his second kick at it. I'm sure he's probably wanting to have better results than Scotland. So hopefully he can take advantage of the second opportunity. And then it'll be interesting to see how the new guys, Rick and Jake, make out from Canada. I think Jessie May and Rachel from the USA as well. I think it's their probably first kick at it too. So I'll definitely be paying attention to the streams. I like to watch everything that World Bowls Tour does, but lots of fun names in here, and I'm excited to see how they all do.
Yeah, I mean, I just love watching it. I mean, I have my favorites, guys that I like watching, so I'll definitely tune into their matches if I know that they're on. And then I try to catch everything during the day. Some of it's during work time, so tune it on in the back, and hopefully for some replays if I hear something going on. But I'm excited. It's always fun. January is boring for bowls, so winter's boring for bowls in general. So seeing the WBT on always gets a little excitement and keeps me going through the winter months. And yeah, for our viewers out there, for anybody watching this, if you haven't tuned into the WBT, please, we've got it linked in the description below. Go and check out the World Bowls Tour. It's an excellent product. It showcases our sport, and definitely deserves your support.
Yeah, no, I don't think me and you can say enough how much we like World Bowls Tour. We both go back and forth during the events talking about all the different results, and then we even have a little pool that we've started amongst sort of groups of friends to keep track of who wins, and we each kind of pick the guys that we think are going to win and lose. So it's a really good time. I enjoy that event, and this is honestly my favorite one. I love when they play at Potters and they have the blue carpet. Like, it's a spectacle. They make it a big spectacle in that big ballroom that they have, and I think in general it's just a really fun event. And yeah, I look forward to every year. It's great because it's right after you're done Christmas. It's right early in the New Year's, and as you say, it does fill up a good portion of January. So that's awesome.
One big item, the debut of one of the best bowlers on the planet right now, Aaron Sheriff, will be making his showing at the WBT. So that's kind of interesting. I will definitely be tuning into whatever matches he's in. That'll be interesting.
Yeah, that's a pretty big thing to have the high-end Australian player go over there. I don't think it's been quite a few years since we've had the high-end Australian players play in the WBT. Like, last one that I could kind of think of was maybe Karen Murphy, and it's probably been about 10 years since she's sort of been in there. And so it's very cool to see that he's making that jump. Does he have to play a prelim match because he's a qualifier, or did they let him jump right into it? Do you know?
That's a good question. I will look it up right now.
Regardless, he's had such an incredible year, indoor and outdoor. I think he was the world indoor champion at the event they had probably 5-6 months ago. So I think he's going to probably have a pretty respectable showing there, even if he has to qualify his way in. I think whoever's going to run into him is probably going to have a tough time, but
Oh, he's in the main draw. And he gets a nice easy matchup against Paul Foster on January 15th. Welcome
so
to the WBT. Yeah.
So they obviously gave him sort of like a 16th seat type of a spot or something like that, just because they know that he's obviously pretty good. So that'll be a match. What day did you say that is? January 15th?
15th, yeah.
Wow, that is quite the first round match for that event. I'll definitely be watching that. That's gonna be super exciting.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, good players all around, good bowls all around. You see some fantastic shots. If you haven't checked out our shorts and some of our videos on it, we try to compile some of the best shots from like finals and what players are doing. Go check those out because some of them are crazy.
Yeah, no, it's you're never gonna run out of shots to watch at that event. Like, I think I'm usually the one who watches the matches and sends you, the editor, which ones I think are the good ones, and I never have a lack of stuff to call because it's always really good shot for shot. Specifically, once you get to the business end of the event, once you're getting to the quarters, semifinals, it gets very, very good. The shots and the caliber of play. I think once people kind of get used to that rink, they're very, very good on it.
Yeah. Hey, go and check out Paul Foster breaking the jack too. There's a nice video of him smashing a jack at one of the WBT events. So maybe he'll do it again. Go tune in. Check it out.
Okay. So if I'm not mistaken, I believe that was what we had planned. Was there anything else you wanted to sort of bring up, Daryl?
No, not really. I mean, end of the year, this will be our final show for the year, so you won't see us until January. Probably once the WBT events wrap up, we'll have a nice show to give you all the results and our thoughts on how that event went. And we'll have to recap the mixed portion of the Atlantic Seniors because that's going on right now. But please go check out our content, check out our videos on our site. We put a lot of hard work into all the stuff that we do, and your support, your likes, your views alone do wonders for us and help us out. So I guess the only thing I want to say for the end of the show is, happy holidays to everybody, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and I'll leave it to you for the final thoughts.
Yeah, no, you covered a lot of the stuff I wanted to say, like whether it's your off season or your current season, depending on where you live in the world. Lots of good content we have there, specifically sort of coaching, working on any of your sort of delivery stuff. If you have questions, Daryl's technical difficulties videos are very helpful for people essentially anywhere in the world. I think beginning of the last year or beginning of this year, we said we wanted to hit 5,000 subscribers. We did not quite make our goal. It was we set a very ambitious goal. I remember when we said it, we were like, that's a lot of people because we're almost doubling our subscribers if we would have done it. But we hit 4,600, so we're 4,600 and some change. So we do really appreciate all the support we get. So every time you subscribe, hit like buttons, it helps us a lot on the YouTube to sort of push our videos up and recommendations, things like that. So if you are here, again, another reminder to hit those buttons because we immensely appreciate it. All of any sort of revenue we're getting is going back to the podcast. Hopefully we have some big stuff and big things that we can maybe talk about or tell people about in the future, but we'll see. Yeah, we appreciate the support and sort of all the money we're getting. We do have something in the pipe, hopefully, that will be pretty big to announce in the future. So I'll echo Daryl and wish everyone happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and see you in the new year. And with that, may all your bowls be touchers.